everyone, welcome back to Little K Artistry. I'm Little K and this is my studio. This is my new reorganized, restructured, revamped and clean and organized and I can breathe again studio. You will notice a couple of things are different. Probably the first thing you notice is the light is coming from a different direction because I've actually switched my table around, and instead of videotaping from the direction that I was before, I'm actually coming from another direction. So instead of the window being over there, the window is over there now. And this is so much more conducive to my creativity because, number one, all of my paints and mediums and everything that I need is right within reach. And number two, I can actually see out the window now, which if you have seen any of my videos and you know anything about me at all, nature inspires me a great deal, especially the colors and the color harmonies and the color combinations and just all the various beautiful things to see in nature. Those inspire me. So now I can look right out my window, whereas before, I couldn't look out my window. When I was painting, I had to turn and look that way. So welcome back to my studio. I'm very excited. I'm very excited today. Today is the day that I am sharing this video with you, and this video today is sharing my Little K pouring medium. And the Little K pouring medium, I have a number of them, but the one that I'm sharing with you today is very simple, it's economical, it's very easy to use, and it makes the medium is for what is called a Dutch bloom. This is not a true traditional Dutch bloom because that style of acrylic painting was created by Renske Dounia, who only uses acrylic paints and water. She does not use anything else. This does have a couple of other things in it. And there's a couple of reasons for those, and I'll tell you why I'm using them in just a minute. So I'm very, very excited to be sharing this with you. This has been a long time coming, and I have tried so many different things to get the look that I was looking for, and I haven't been able to find it until now. So I'm very excited to share that with you. So I'm going to be showing you how to make it. It's really simple. I'm going to mix up a batch, and then I'm going to mix some paints, and then I'm going to do a really quick Dutch bloom style of pour, and it's most likely will have bubbles in it because I'm mixing the mix fresh, and I'm going to be using the fresh mix that I use right here today, so there'll probably be a few bubbles because I'm not usually I let it set so the bubbles dissipate, but that's okay, you'll get the idea. Okay, so welcome. Please, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe if you like what you find on my channel. The content here, there's a lot of it. I think I'll have 100. This is my 150th video, I think, so very exciting. And oh my gosh, we are fast approaching 2,000 subscribers, which is blowing my mind, by the way, because I thought I might get 20 or 30. So I'm like, wow, almost 2,000 of you are coming into my studio every day with me, which is so cool. This is my passion. I love painting. For those of you who don't know, this started out as my therapy. My therapist was just, trying to help me through went through some trauma for a couple of years, also some severe childhood trauma, and was trying to work through some things, and she recommended, in order to help to handle, deal with, mitigate, whatever you want to call it, my trauma responses to various situations, she said, you know what, try and put your emotions down on, do some art. So I started with just simple, let me show you one, just simple paintings that I did in my living room. This is one of my larger ones. I just started using brushes and mandala tools, and the dots here are mandalas, and then I just painted the flowers. And then this was actually, this is a shirt I saw at Walmart. Does anybody have this shirt? I saw the design and I just loved it. So I did the ombre background, and then I used dotting tools, and I did that just on the front of it. So that's how I started. Then I got into, like I said, mandalas. I did a number of mandala pieces, and then I found fluid art, and just have fallen right in love with fluid art. I've been doing that for about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now, and I'm just tickled that you all are liking what I'm creating. I love it. Like I said, it's my therapy. So the art, what I create here, is for me, but this channel is for you, because some people, apparently, almost 2,000 of you, want to watch this process and want to do it yourselves. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this. I don't want to call it a series because they're pretty spaced apart, but they're my my pouring mediums that I've created, because when I first started, everything was so expensive, and there was pouring mediums that had 5 or 6 or 8 different things to put in them, and they were really hard to get and they were really expensive. That was the main thing. So I wanted to find something, create something that was just less expensive, and so that you could still, if you wanted to just do art for no other reason than doing art for yourself, you could do it really inexpensively. Not that it's cheap, it's just a little easier on your wallet. Plus, the other reason for doing this channel is I've always wanted to be a teacher, so I'm kind of excited that I get to do teaching. I didn't go to college. I got married to a great guy, had a couple of kids, and life went. So now I'm 54 years old. I've decided I want to go back to teaching, or start teaching to begin with. So that's what I'm doing with this series. The next one, I'll be revealing another one of the mixes that I use. And then each time I do it, I try to incorporate some kind of education. I do want to do one about the safety. And a lot of you have, not a lot, but a couple of you have messaged me and said, what do you use for your air filtration? Do you use air filtration? What do you use for gloves? How do you, when you do your texture art, if you're sanding, do you use a mask? What mask do you use? All that stuff. I do want to do a video on safety, because that is really important. Especially the air cleaner thing, that's really key. This is a small room, and I do work with, excuse me, I do work with materials that have an odor. So I don't want to, I don't want to endanger my life or the life of my pets. Some of you know I have a little dog named Mr. Bentley, and I also have a bearded dragon named Miss Smoggy. So she's not here in my room today, but Mr. Bentley's right outside the door, behaving himself, thankfully. So what I'm going to do today, the first thing I want to do is say thank you so much. If you're subscribing, if you're a new subscriber, if you're an existing subscriber and you're coming back because you're dying to see what it is that I do, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new, thank you again for subscribing. I do want to run down the list of states and countries because it blows my mind every time I look at it. It grows. And we got Utah came on board today, and they're like, don't forget Utah. I was like, well, you got to tell me you're out there. So I'm going to go down through this list of the states in the United States first, because that's where I currently reside. And then I'm going to go down through the countries, and I have them on the list on the stand underneath my phone. So I'm just going to read down through the list. If you don't see in the list below this video your state or country, or you don't hear me shout out your state or country from where in the world you're watching, please make a comment. Let me know where you are. Even if you do hear your state or your country, give me a shout out, because it's fun to see where everyone's watching from. So first of all, in the US, I'm in Maine. I live in central Maine, and you probably heard me say it before. If you know anything about Maine, you know it's Portland. So get in your car from Portland, drive 2 hours north, and that's where I am. And trust me, there's another 3 hours before you get to Canada, so this is a big state. So I live right outside of Bangor. So I'm going to go down through the list. I apologize for my my throat is weird today because the what is that yellow flower that's pollinating right now? Goldenrod. Goldenrod is pollinating and my throat feels all weird. So the states in the US, alphabetical, because I'm that good. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. Welcome to all the A's. We have California, Colorado, and Connecticut. Delaware, Florida, Georgia, and Hawaii. Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa. The odds are well represented. Kansas, Louisiana. Then we have the M's. Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, and Montana. M's are very well represented. So are the N's. New Jersey, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, and Nebraska. I think Nebraska. Why is Nebraska below North Carolina and North Dakota? That should be up at the... But I wasn't paying attention when I alphabetized. Ohio, Oklahoma, and Oregon, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Amazing. And now for the countries. This list is blowing my mind. Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Costa Rica, England, France, Germany, Holland, Hungary, India, Israel, Italy, Jordan, the Netherlands, North Wales, Norway, Portugal, Scotland, Sicily, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, the UAE, and the United Kingdom. That is so awesome. I mean, you guys, I can't even. I came on here in April and I was like, well, I'll do a little YouTube channel and see what happens. Probably just the people that I know will get on. And now countries all over the world. I can't even believe it. Somebody pinch me. Pinch me through the camera. Okay, so that's that. I am going to put my gloves on, because safety first. And I'm still nursing my hands, which are being weird again. So I'm going to put on my cotton gloves first, and then my nitrile gloves. There are a couple of really, really well-known, extremely talented painters, fluid artists out there who don't use gloves. I can't stress to you enough how important, and that is their choice, but I would be remiss if I did not remind you and tell you and stress the importance of keeping the paint off of your skin. It isn't, it's not going to burn your skin or whatever, but it does have chemicals in it. And if you know anything from your biology class in high school, or if you sold skincare like I did, your skin is your largest organ. It absorbs everything that you put on it. If you're putting wet paints, if you're putting pouring mediums, if you're putting anything that you seal it, if any of that is getting on your hands, on your arms, on your skin, it's absorbing through your skin and getting into your body. So please remember, always wear your gloves, even if you're mixing paints. Again, you're all adults, I think, I'm assuming. It's your choice, but I would not be doing the right thing if I did not remind you and tell you that I always wear my gloves. Very, very important. Okay, I'm going to reveal my mystery ingredients. It's not that much of a mystery, you guys. You can get these pretty much anywhere. But I wanted to share with you how I mix my pouring medium for the Dutch pours. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. And if you try this, please share it with me. If you can find me on Facebook, it's Little K Artistry on Facebook. Find me on Facebook, follow me there, send me a message, send me some pictures of your art. I want to see what it is that you create. A bunch of you have already made the spinner. Oh my word, spinner. What number is that? Number 89. My video number 89 will teach you how to do this, how to make this spinner. And video 91 is canvas prep. It's real easy if you want to know how I prep my canvases. Okay, so the main ingredient is water. Do not use tap water. Don't use tap water. Don't use tap water. It has stuff in it that you don't want in your paintings. Distilled water only. Anytime you see me adding water to anything, if I'm using my sprayer, because this is one of the things that I put on the back of my canvases to prep, this is distilled water. Never use tap water. Never, ever, ever. Never use tap water. Always use distilled water. And because it's handy, I put my distilled water in a little squirt bottle. I'm like Vanna. My little squirt bottle, okay? It's easier to do that way. And sometimes if I need a lot, I'll take the cover off the squirt bottle, but distilled water only. Okay, the next ingredient we're gonna put in here. This is the magic ingredient, you guys, and I'm gonna spin this around. This is Saks True Flow Acrylic Gel Medium. All of these things you can get right online. Many of them you can get right at your craft store. This is compared to a lot of the other ingredients that a lot of other painters use. This is extremely, very, very reasonably priced, especially for the amount I'm going to use. So this is Saks, S-A-X, True Flow Acrylic Gel Medium. That's what this is, my secret ingredient. Comes in a big, I think this is 32 ounces. Yeah, 32 ounces. This will last you a while. You can get a lot of pouring medium out of this. So that is the ingredient. The other thing is GAC 800. I don't use very much of this at all. And this actually, if you don't have it, it's not necessary, but I do in some of my pours like my paints to be a little bit thicker if I'm doing a cloud pour or if I'm doing a blowout, not of a bloom that I'm going to spin and stretch, but just a blowout of like the one that looks like a vine. That I don't spin very much, so I want the paints to be a little bit thicker and to avoid crazing, which is that weird shift cracking that kind of looks like it's separating. This helps with that. So a little bit of this goes a long way. That's it, you guys. 3 ingredients: water, Saks Gel Medium, and a little splash of GAC 800. That's it. It's super easy and very economical. Here are my ratios. Again, super easy, you guys. And I'm going to mix it right here. First of all, you're going to do 1 part. Whatever your parts are, it's up to you. If you're mixing a large amount and you want to use a whole cup, and 1 cup is your part, that's fine. If you're only mixing a little bit and you want to do 1/4 of a cup because you don't need that much, that's fine too. But whatever your part is, it's the same for everything, for both ingredients, okay? So it's 1 part of the Saks True Flow Acrylic Gel Medium. 1 part. I'm going to pour it to start with, I think. It's pretty thick. Well, it's pretty thick. This is a gloss gel medium. This is part of why I use it. I want A lot of the paints that I'm using have a pretty dull, they're not shiny, they're not gloss paints. And I want the painting to have a little bit of a shine to it. I also want the paints to be a little bit creamier and a little bit smoother. And this does that with the addition of the water. When you put this in water, it helps the paints just to be a little bit more creamy. And I think, it might be my imagination, but I think they flow better and smoother over the canvas. So this is 1 part of Saks Gel Medium. 1 part. And my part happens to be half a cup, just because my container wouldn't support the whole amount of the Saks and the water. Okay, the next is the water. And the water is 5 parts. So I have got a half cup container here. I'm going to fill this 5 times. Important, pay attention. Important. If I took 5 of these and dumped them in here and started to stir, I would never get the lumps out. Never. Trust me, ask me how I know. Do it slowly at first. The reason why is you want to thin this down very slowly. So what I do is I put in, no, like I said, this is a half a cup. So I get one of my little tiny cup measurers. This is a 1/4 cup. This is 1/4 cup. So I fill this with the water. This is a 1/4 cup, so it's half of one of those. So this is essentially half a part. Okay? And then I'm just going to put a tiny bit in there. And then I'm going to gently mix that tiny bit of water into my Saks Gel Medium. Guys, this is really important. If you're like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, I'm just going to dump it all in there, you will never get the lumps out. And when you mix it with your paints, you'll then have little white lumpy streaks in your paint. Again, ask me how I know. I wouldn't stir your own. Okay, so now it's a tiny bit creamier. Now I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm not even halfway done with that 1/4 cup yet. So I'm only adding a little bit at a time. And then you stir it and fully incorporate the water. Fully and completely. Now it's getting a little bit thinner. You'll see, hopefully. It's getting a little bit thinner now. A little bit more water. And I'm going to do this with that 1/4 cup measure twice. So I'm going to end up putting 1 part. But I'm going to do it very, very slowly. If you're really good and you can hold your hand steady, have at it. Do 1 part and just put it in slowly, but I'm not that good. But what this will amount to is 1 part. Okay, so see, it's starting to get a little bit thinner now. It's running off my silicone stick. Okay, so then I'm gonna put the rest. Okay, so that's half a part. And this is nowhere near as thin as it's gonna be. But what I wanted to show you is the proper way of mixing this. There's a bunch of different tips that I've learned too with regard to thinning paints and thickening them. If you make your paints too thin, how to thicken them up. I'll show those in another video. Okay, so that was half a part. I'm gonna do another half a part. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Just a little bit. This is a tip I wish I knew. I kind of learned the hard way. So if you know anyone who's just getting started, or if you're just getting started in fluid art, this is a really handy tip. And if you know someone who could use this information, please share this video. Okay, so it's getting a little bit thinner. See, it's running off the silicone stick. Now remember, before I could barely pour it out of the container. Okay, put a little bit more in there. This is where you take your time. This is where you look out the window. Oh, it's kind of cloudy today. Oh, there's a turkey. There's a turkey in the backyard. I saw the turkeys this morning. The mamas and the babies. The baby turkeys were so cute. And I saw a skunk last night when I took Mr. Bentley out. Also very cute, but I kept my distance. Okay, now this is the rest of that 1/4 cup. So now I put 2 of these in, so that equals 1 of these. That was 1 part, okay? So I've now got equal parts of the Saks True Flow pouring medium, equal parts of that and water. See, it's still very thick. We do not want it that thick at all. But still much thinner than it was when I poured it out. Okay, now we are safe to do the full thing. But I'm still gonna add it a little bit slower. But I can add it from my half cup measure now because I've thinned it down so that now it's going to receive the water a lot better. It was so thick before. Let's see, it's thinning out really nice. Now I can put the rest of that in there. Once you get past that first bit, again, it's not a race. Take it slow. Patience. Take your time. Remember my 16 tips? Take your time. Slow down. Okay, so that's 2 parts. Now, I could probably put the whole third part right in there. Yep. And now it's thinning out really nicely. See? And there's no bits that haven't been incorporated. It's all very smooth. It sort of has the consistency of really frothy milk or whole milk. If you guys, I grew up on whole milk. Actually, I grew up on goat's milk. You guys, right out of the goat. Told you I lived on a farm. Okay, that was hopefully 3. You guys been counting? I think that was 3. This is 4. That's 4 parts. See, it's thinning out, but see, no, there are no lumps in it at all. There are some bubbles, but I told you that would happen. Typically, you're going to mix this up the day before, at least, and you're not going to use it that day because you'll get bubbles, unless you don't mind using your torch and blowing all the bubbles out of it. Okay, I'm running low in my squirt bottle here, so I'm just going to. The last thing I'm going to add is the GAC 800, and I don't add very much at all. Here's my last part of water. Dude, look at that. It's almost like I prepared ahead of time. It's almost like I've done this before. Remember in those 16 tips? Prepare. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Prepare. Why is that reminding me of the Lion King? Be prepared. That was Scar's song. Jeremy Irons, perfectly cast for that. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I have a ton of movie knowledge in my brain, and sometimes it slips out my mouth. I apologize. Some of you like it, some of you are like, stop. I will say, thanks to my daughter, I have started listening to some books on tape, which I've always wanted to do, but I found it really hard because of my hearing impairment. I wasn't able to find earbuds that I could hear out of that allowed me to hear most of what was going on. And you probably don't even know this, but I'm telling you, my ear holes are really small. And if you've ever tried to wear one of the inner ear earbuds and you have small ear holes, it hurts after a while. So I found one that actually goes over my ear and just sits, and it's perfect. So I've been listening to books, and let me tell you, you guys, Stephen King's book, oh, I'm loving it. It was on the recommendation of my daughter. It's called On Writing. And it's him just teaching how he writes and how you can write if you want. It's amazing. Very good. I've been listening to it. It's so good. Okay, where is my... There it is. Okay, so this is the pouring medium. Okay, it's 1 part of the Saks True Flow acrylic gel medium and 5 parts of water. So my part was half a cup, so there's 3 full cups in here, okay? I'm only putting in 1 tablespoon of the GAC 800. It equals about a splash. Again, this is not a necessity. You do not have to use this if you don't have it. This is a little bit more expensive, but 1 tablespoon in all this container is 32 ounces. It's gonna go a long way. So but it's not necessary. I like to do it. Again, the reason why is because I like on some of my pores, especially my cloud and foggy pores, my paints are a little thicker, and I like to make sure that there's no crazing. So as they're drying, the paint's not pulling apart, and then you get those weird white lines. Cracking and crazing are no fun, and I spent months, you guys, months. When I first started, I started doing abstract cellism, which is this. This is to date my favorite one I've ever done. I love this piece, plus I added the texture to it. When I started doing abstract cellism a year ago, January, it was months. I would do the painting, I'd get up the next morning, and it would all be cracked and crazy. And I was so frustrated. And I would get it just the way I wanted. I'd be like, okay, it's gonna work this time. I'd get up in the morning, and it was all cracked and crazed. Then I got a really good pouring medium. I had no cracking or crazing, but for this one, this pouring medium, a little bit of GAC 800 works wonders. Hang that back up on my wall. Okay, now my pouring medium is all mixed, and you'll notice it's very thin. It's like milk. Now, instead of whole milk, it's like 2%. Okay, that's exactly what you want. So that is my pre-mixed medium. There you go. How easy was that, and how extremely inexpensive, because most of it is just distilled water. For $1, you can get a gallon of distilled water. Well, it used to be $1. Nowadays, it's probably $50. I don't know. Okay, I'm putting all that stuff away. I am going to do a sort of bloom. So what I want to do is I want to mix some of this pouring medium. I'm going to do a base of white, and then I'm going to do, I think, a bloom. Not sure yet. So I'm going to use, which one is this? This is my permanent blue violet, which I love. And then I'm also going to use some primary magenta. And then I'm also going, I think this is Naples. Yeah, I'm going to use some Naples yellow. And then, because I'm not including anything except my medium, I don't have any Floetrol, nothing. I'm not using any, I never use silicone oil. Not using anything to make cells. What I'm doing is using a different density of paint. So I'm going to go with the Deco Art Metallics, and this is 24 karat gold. This, I think, will make cells. We'll see. We'll see together. So I'm going to mix some of these. I'm going to grab some cups. I was going to have these right out on the table, but then I thought it would be too messy. So, okay, one for the red, one for the yellow, one for the gold, one for the purple, and a bigger one for the white. Okay, now we're going to do the base first. Just going to mix these up real quick. And like I said, one more time, these are going to have bubbles in them because I'm mixing them and pouring the same day. I'm gonna use the extra of this, so I'm gonna make a little bit of extra. Okay, there's my titanium white. And the same thing when you're mixing the medium with the paints, only put a little bit in it first. So I just do a splash. Okay, and then stir. These silicone sticks, you get them right on Amazon. I don't know if you guys have your own, if you like to use the wooden sticks. I found the wooden sticks was splintering, and I didn't like that because I didn't want to get wood splinters in my painting. If you want me to, I can put the link to these. I just found them on Amazon. Just type in silicone stir sticks. They're all over the place. I know Fluid Art Co., where I got my mat, they have some sticks. These were really inexpensive though. Like I said, I'm trying to get and show you and give you links and information to things that are less expensive, because that's what I was looking for when I started, and it was really difficult to find. So I got really frustrated. Ended up spending money on now I use Amsterdam. Mostly Amsterdam paints because I waste very little. In the beginning, I was really chucking a lot of the paintings because they just were terrible. They were crazing, or the colors mixed and made brown. It was just terrible. So I ended up tossing a lot of paint. So I was looking for something that would be less expensive, so I wasn't chucking all that money. I felt like I was throwing money down the drain. Okay. That looks pretty good. So we're gonna see we're going to end up with about 50-50 paint to medium, and it leaves no trace. So I'm going to show you, hopefully you can see this. It's running off the stick perfectly smooth. It is not making a mound, and it is not leaving a trace at all in the cup. It's nice and thin. Okay, that's that. Now we need, so I'm going to put down red, then yellow, no, purple, red, yellow, gold. Purple, red, yellow, gold. Okay, so that's how I'm going to mix them. It's actually not purple. It's permanent blue violet. Woo! Excuse me. Oh, I bet I just lost some people there. Told you I can't stay serious for very long. I'm trying my best. Okay, permanent blue violet is next. Go slowly, guys. Mix a little bit at a time. Okay, so this is the permanent blue violet. Haven't fully mixed it. If you are mixing your paint and you pull the stir stick up and it comes off in dribbles like that, it's either too thick, you haven't put enough pouring medium with it or you haven't stirred it enough. So keep stirring and mixing, mix. Okay, a little bit. It's a little thick, so I'm gonna put in a tiny bit more. And this is a small canvas. It's only a 14-inch canvas, so I'm not gonna end up with a ton. I made a lot of the white just because that's the background color. I'm not gonna need a ton of this permanent blue violet. Okay, that's better. Remember to scrape your stir stick because you're gonna get clumps of paint on it. You want to make sure you incorporate all the color. There we go. Still a little bit thick. Just tiny little bit at a time. And if you're mixing your paints right along with me, even better. Now that you know the ingredients, if you want to hop on the internet, I got almost everything that I use on Amazon. You can also go to your local craft store and get them too. And then replay this video and just mix along with me. That would be fun too. Kind of like the Bob Ross videos back in the 70s. The joy of painting. People used to put up their easels and get their canvases and paint right alongside them. It was fabulous. Okay, so same consistency. I really can't stress that enough with any of your paintings that you do. Make sure your consistency is the same throughout, because some of the paints will move faster and some will move slower depending on how thick they are. And if you mix some that are thin and some that are thicker, the thinner ones will move faster and the thicker ones will move slower, and your painting might end up looking distorted. So really, really important. It comes with experience and time and practice. Practice. I won't use the old phrase, practice makes perfect, because art isn't perfect. I feel like, dare I lose some people by stating my personal beliefs, but I will state my personal beliefs. If you don't believe as I do, that is fine. I believe that God is an artist and he's perfect. His creations are perfect. Mine, perfectly imperfect. And that's quite all right. A little bit more pouring medium in there. Practice makes acceptable. Practice makes pretty. I like that one. Oh, my nose itches. Somebody's got in my nose. Oh, no. Sorry about that. Okay, not quite thin enough yet. There we go. This is a beautiful color. This is primary magenta, and it is glorious. It's like it's a very cool red. It's almost pink. Okay, so that it's not leaving a trace. Lovely. Okay, there's that. So I've done the white, I did the blue violet, the magenta. Now we do a little bit of the Naples yellow, and then I'm going to do gold, and hopefully we'll make some cells with the gold. If you guys have seen any of my previous videos, give a shout out, let me know which one you like best. And you'll also know that Naples yellow is my favorite yellow so far. Naples yellow just reminds me of butter or a summer day. It's not too bright, but it's perfect. In my opinion, Naples yellow is perfect. It's glorious. Hope you guys are still with me. I want you to see how this works on the actual canvas. When I first started doing fluid art, this was drudgery. This was my least favorite. I was like, I don't want to mix the paints. I just want to paint. I just want to make something pretty. And then over the course of several months, what I discovered, much to my surprise, and now to my delight, the mixing of the paints is actually one of my favorite parts. Because this is where, now you're probably going to think I'm weird. Which, if you don't think I'm weird by now, you haven't watched enough of my videos, because I'm pretty weird. I feel like when I'm mixing, I've never said this out loud before, guys. If you think I'm weird, go ahead and comment, but maybe you'll get, if you do this, if you're an artist, I feel like when I mix the paints, I'm breathing into it, because I'm breathing over it. I feel like I'm putting part of myself in. Does that make sense, right? You know what I'm saying. You guys are all smart. I feel like there's a little piece of me, not my soul or anything like that, but it's just something. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't think I'm saying it very well, but because I'm breathing over the paints, there's like part of me is going into the paint and therefore into the painting. So when I sell or give away, because I do give a lot of my paintings away, when I give away my art or sell it, it's always very emotional because there's a part of me in that painting, you know. So this part has become this is really therapeutic. Plus, again, I'm weird. I like the way it smells, especially with this pouring medium. It's not strong. Like, I can't smell it from here. I have to actually bend down and smell it. But it doesn't have an unpleasant odor. There are some ingredients that some of the painters use, and I've taken their courses or whatever. I don't love the way it smells. I have a very strong sense of smell, extremely strong, because my hearing is very, very less than perfect. And so I think my sense of smell is really super honed. And I can't use mediums or paints that don't smell good. I've used the Modern Masters. There's these guys here. And their colors are gorgeous. I can't stand the way they smell. They are, ugh. And it's not a strong smell, but I can smell it. So those are on my shelf, and I don't use them. Okay, so there we go. There's the yellow, and lastly I'm gonna do the gold. And this is the Snowmaker, holy cow. There we go. Guys, that was like a little secret of mine. If you didn't know this, jars in your kitchen, anything with a screw-on lid. If you can't get, this is mostly for the women. The guys are probably strong enough. I don't know, some of the women are strong enough. I don't know, but I'm not strong enough to open it. If it's stuck, if it's a jar of whatever in your kitchen, you can't get it open, straight down. A couple of times, and then it usually will open right up. So it's just a little tip. You don't need any of those fancy jar openers. Just a little ingenuity. Okay, this is my 24 karat gold. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this. It's so beautiful. This is the Deco Art Metallics. This gold is among my favorites. The 24 karat gold is very beautiful. I am going to put these guys back because they are kind of in my way. So let me do a little housekeeping really quickly. This is my little spinny deal. I got this online. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera or not, but it is, for organizational people, that was one of my favorites because I had all of my tube paints in a drawer and they were just messing with my mind. So I put them on that rack and now I love it. Very organized. Okay. So for all of you out there who have been doing fluid art for a little while and you have heard the term CA or cell activator, it's a commonly used term. There's nothing to activate. There's no chemical reaction going on. It's the term that people in our field call the layer that makes the cells. And a lot of times it has, I apologize, I'm getting a hot flash again. Hey, okay, I'm gonna try and talk through it. A lot of times it has Floetrol, American or US Floetrol in the CA. This, you saw what I put in it. It's my same pouring medium. You can do that without the expensive ingredients, I hope. Fingers crossed. I'd say that, and you watch. This won't make any cells, but either way, it'll be pretty. Okay, so this is the same thickness as all the others. This paint started off a little bit thinner to begin with, so I didn't need very much pouring medium in it. Okay, very cool. Whoo, lordy, lordy, lord have mercy. It is about 150 in here. I'm gonna move that over. Hopefully I don't die from a hot flash while the camera's rolling. If I do, somebody come check on my dog. Just kidding. Okay, paint, canvas is prepped. I'm centering it. One of the most important things for you all to know when you're doing this type of art is you must level your table and or your art. So, because it's fluid art and you'll get it all looking pretty and you'll look at it and go, it's beautiful, and you won't even think. If it's slightly off, over time, it will slide and it will distort your composition. So get one of these. If you don't have one, it's just a little level. And you set it one way and you go, perfect. I did this ahead of time. It's almost like I knew what I was doing. It's almost like I prepared. And then you go this way and you look at it from this side, perfectly level. Do this every time, even if your table is level. Do it every time. Stuff can shift. All right. Now we're gonna do it. Are you ready? Everybody ready? Okay, we're gonna start with white base coat. Gosh, I hope this works, you guys. If it doesn't, everybody's gonna be like, that little Kay, she sucks. Not that you would say that. Well, maybe you wouldn't say it to my face, I hope. Although I don't know if any of you are watching are from Maine. I know I do have some Maine people, so if you're a maniac, give me a shout out, please, and let me know from where in Maine you're watching. I think pretty much everyone watching is from southern Maine, so I don't know if there's anybody up here in the Bangor Brewer area. And I just did one of those things that Mainers do. I put an R on the end of my word that doesn't have an R on the end of it. I said area instead of area. We take the R's off when there is one, like ka, and we put one on where there isn't one, like Lisa. Like Lisa, like the name Lisa, Lisa. Yeah, that's what Mainers do. We just, you know, we're odd. In a good way. Okay, there is my base. Clean that up real quick. I'm going to pop the bubbles. So there's a good number of bubbles in here, but again, I was expecting that because I just mixed the medium. If you let it sit overnight, guys, you won't have bubbles. But I didn't because I wanted to get this, I wanted to mix it and then use my medium that I just mixed because I wanted to show you guys in real time. I mean, I could have mixed it last night and poured it, but I just wanted to make sure that I did it in real time on the video so you guys knew This is actually what I'm using. You saw me put the ingredients in. I do have one little... Where are my tweezers? Uh-oh. I reorganized my... Oh, there they are. I reorganized my drawer and I forgot where to put my tweezers. Tweezers are real handy, you guys. Okay. Perfect. Okay, there's the base. Now, this is that beautiful blue violet. So you don't need hardly any. This little cup of paint could make a ton of paintings. Well, not a ton, half a ton maybe. Now that beautiful primary magenta, so pretty. It's glowing, it's so bright, it's beautiful, I love that color. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow. And then we'll put the gold. I have no idea what this is gonna look like, you guys. Could look like butt, but it'll be pretty butt, right? I've never used this color combination before. Now this, hopefully, if I did it right, will make the cells. If I didn't, you can holler at me on YouTube. Just not really loudly. Although I am hearing impaired, so you might have to do it a little louder. Okay, I am gonna put a little bit of white. Actually, you know what I'm thinking? I'm gonna put a little bit of the... Nope, I have an idea. Hold on, you guys. I just had a brainstorm. Sometimes when this happens, it works out and looks really, really awesome. And sometimes when it happens, it looks like butt. But I'm gonna try it anyway. I want a lighter pink. I'm gonna mix, I mixed the titanium white and that red. The primary magenta. I mixed those two. And I'm gonna put this around the outside. This might look horrible, you guys. It might look absolutely horrible. But I just kind of got a feeling it needs a little more paint. That might be too much. It might end up looking horrible. I don't know, but it just dawned on me that I could do that. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna explain it again because some of you watching probably don't know. So this is, the link is below, my little blower. You can get these adapters, diffusers online. I taped it to the outside of my hairdryer because the one it came with was too small. I put a tiny little piece of cardboard, I depressed the cold button and then taped it so that when I turn my blower hairdryer on, it's always cold, so I don't have to hold the button. Okay, I am gonna do cold, low, and I'm gonna explain to you also, again, the blowing out is really important. You don't wanna push this way, you wanna go mostly perpendicular. You're not gonna be able to get it perfectly straight up and down, that won't work, but mostly. And that way you'll get more of the colors, hopefully. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed, this always makes me so nervous. Pretty. Wow, made some cells. Wow. Made quite a few cells actually. Okay, I'm going to use my favorite dotting tool. I'm just defining the petals a little bit. Now we spin. We stretch the picture. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Oh, wow. Okay, so that gold, that last top layer that I put on there made a ton of cells. Are you seeing all those cells? That's all that gold. Wow, I had no idea that was gonna happen. That's a lot of cells, people. I like it. I'm gonna spin it one more time. And I'll show you what else you can do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, very pretty. That's very pretty. Wow, what do you guys think? I'm loving it. There's a lot of cells though, more than I was expecting. So I think next time I would use way less of the gold because there's a lot of cells. And I would probably do on this size canvas a different style of blowout. In fact, yeah, I would have done a different style of blowout. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do in the next video that I post, I'm gonna use the same pouring medium. So it'll be video 51, I think. And I'm gonna do a different style of a blowout with these same colors so you can see the difference. This is really cool looking, but it doesn't necessarily look like a bloom. I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. I'm just gonna tweak it a tiny bit. Let me see. I'm gonna do like that. And I'll just go back and put a little bit more of the white. There, I like that better. Okay, I like that better. Just wanted to define the petals a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit over here too, I think, although I really like that petal. I'm just going to take a little bit like that. And then maybe we'll go like that. There. Then we put a little bit of it back. Part of this process that just terrified me when I first started was this part. The fixing the little details, because I was always so concerned that I would screw up the painting when you really can't. I mean you can. Don't get me wrong, I've screwed up a lot of paintings, but you can screw it up in a good way too and make it look even better. Okay, so I want to separate these guys a little bit. Whoa, where did that come from? Separate this a little, like that. That's pretty. So those two end up kind of looking like one. So I think what it probably is just going to end up being as a 4-petal bloom instead of a 5-petal bloom, which is fine. But okay, so you see now, I just kind of want to touch on what happened with that gold. I did not need anything special. You just need a paint that has a different viscosity. That's all. So if you're watching videos of fluid artists who are using Floetrol, you don't have to use it if you either can't get it or if you don't want to use it. There are some people who are, have found out, who are very sensitive to the odor of it, and they don't like it at all. So this just shows you that you can make beautiful art without Floetrol and without really expensive ingredients. These are very inexpensive. And if you take the GAC 800, the GAC 800 is probably more expensive than anything else that's in there. If you take the GAC 800 out and you just make them really, really thin, so you don't have to worry about cracking and crazing, then, I mean, it's even less expensive if you take those things out. So, okay, so what do you guys think? So this is the little K pouring medium. The reason that I mix it and don't do just water like Whinscadonia does is because when this dries, it will have a little bit of a shine to it, which is what I want. I don't want it to be just matte like the paints. I want it to have a little bit of a shine to it. So that's the main reason why I add a pouring medium to it. The other thing too is sometimes I think it does help with crazing. It helps the paints to dry a little bit better. Right, I mean, I don't know what, I like it better as a 4-petal bloom, actually. I think it's very, let me look and see what the composition, yeah. So that, the way that you're looking at it, that's the composition. I hope you guys can see this. I totally didn't check to see if the camera was in the right place. So I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna make sure the camera's in the right place before I let you guys go. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. If you want to try the medium, if you don't, that's fine. It's something that I really enjoy. I like mixing ingredients and trying new things, and this just happened to work for me. I think, like I said, again, if I was to do this again, I would use less of the gold. I think I used a little bit too much of the gold, got too many cells on the outside. But if I do, in the next video, when I do the second way of blowing it out, you'll see that it'll be even more cool. But let me come around there. Make sure that you can see this, and if you can't, I'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you can sort of see it. Let me zoom in here. Let me tip this a little bit. There we go. And I will zoom in so you guys can see it. I think it's quite pretty. There, what do you guys think? Lovely. It's lovely. You like it? I am quite taken with it. I especially love all these cells in the petals. They're looking quite beautiful. Let's see if we turn it. Oh, it looks pretty that way too. I don't like it like that. I definitely don't like it like that. I think that's the composition right there. I like that. What do you think? Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to zoom back up again. And zoom out. There. Wow, that's a big zoom out. Okay. All right, well, thank you for watching. I hope that you learned a little bit. You got inspired. Maybe do your own painting. I'll put my slippers back on. Drop me a note, shout out, and let me know what you think. Just threw these colors together. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I think it looks kind of pretty. And I will do another one, and I will use the same colors, and I'll just blow it out a different way so you can see how the cells work that way too. But again, just using a different viscosity paint that is just has a little bit more of a matte finish to it. The metallics from Deco Art tend to be a little bit more matte than the other colors that I used. So I look forward to hearing your comments, and thank you so much for being patient and waiting for this video. I look forward to hearing from you. I thank you so much for your subscription if you have subscribed. If you haven't and you like what you see on my channel, please subscribe. And I'm gonna go outside and see if I can take a little walk while the sun is still shining, get some more inspiration. I thank you again. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This is Little K saying, just go make the art.